Oh, there we go. I think I am live. Is that better? Are we on? Just can people put something in chat to make sure that I know that I am actually on? I think that should be us on. I'm just gonna start talking as if we are. Oh yes, okay, we're on. I can see the chat. So yeah. Is there any audio issues? Just let me know. There's an echo in my head, but that's because I'm listening to it through this and through my headphones. So just let me know if there's anything with that. Let me see. How's that? I know I've missed a signing, a very big one as well. Not to mention that Max Kilsby's left for Queen of the South 4 minutes ago, and that we've signed Georgie Kelly. Not the one I was expecting. I can't lie. 27 years old. I'm not gonna lie. I honestly don't know who he is, which I'm sure a lot of people will be able to relate to. Um, but yeah, I'm just gonna open chat on my other screen first. Apologies, I'm obviously not very good at this, as you will know from previous years. I can't get chat to come up on this screen. I know there is chat because it's on my screen. Oh, there we go. There we go. Georgie Kelly from Rotherham. Yeah, okay, I've got the chat up now. Yeah, I never heard of him, to be honest with you. But 27-year-old striker from a championship club. Hard to disagree with that. Apparently, he scored a lot of goals for Bohemians, according to Wikipedia. He's played 48 goals for Rotherham, and scored 6 goals. I'm still just testing my sound. Is there an echo? Right. Okay. So yeah, 48 games. It looks like it's going to be him and Armstrong up top. Okay, there's no echo. Right. Thank you. Thank you. And I'll just share this out because the issue was, and there's one every single year, was that I'd organised this as a mobile stream, which I then tried to do on my laptop, and it wouldn't let me through Streamlabs start this. But look, this hasn't been the first piece of news this deadline day. I'm going to take these off because the echo's annoying me. But pretty much, Moxon's gone. Garner's gone. That was yesterday, but I haven't mentioned it on the channel yet. So yeah, it's a very, very interesting transfer deadline day. Martin says, "Where is Charlie Wyke?" Look, apparently we're going to get 2 in today. 1 a permanent, 1 a loan. This is the permanent. This Kelly, whoever he is. And he's bald, so we've got our Joe Garner replacement there at the very least. Just hopefully with his best years ahead of him, because we've been signing a lot of players who we've been signing players who maybe are ones for the future. We've been signing players who are, from a lower league. But yeah, I quite like it. I have no idea who he is, but the profile seems to be the right kind of player that we need, I think. I'm going to put the headphones back on. I missed the echo. Can you just let me know if you can still hear? That's better for me if you guys can still hear me. Georgie Kelly, right, okay. So, not to mention that Max Kilsby has gone. Is that going to be it for tonight? I hope for the sake of myself that it's not. Because this would be a very dull stream if not. But, yeah, okay, I'm just going to read the article. The Irish forward arrives on a 3.5-year deal for an undisclosed fee. Okay, so that's good. He's here for, 3 and a bit years, similar to Armstrong. So if that's going to be our front two, they're going to get a hell of a long time to learn to play together. People saying that he's injured. Honestly, I don't know if that's true or not. Perhaps it is. It wouldn't surprise me. Maisie asks if they know if I know who the loan signing is. Well, a lot of people seem to think it's Charlie Wyke, which to me seems a little bit unrealistic, and it seems to be another case of Carlisle fans overrating, not overrating, but having an obsession with ex-players. I haven't really seen any concrete evidence that he is coming back. Now, at the same time, I said the exact same when we've made some signings, like the Luke Armstrong signing. I didn't think was going to happen until it did, until it was confirmed. But look, Charlie Wyke, a lot of people want him, and it's easy to see why. He's our top goal scorer, I believe, ever. He's still in what is theoretically the prime of his career. But so people obviously want him back, and he's not playing at Wigan for whatever reasons. I'm just reading some more about this new guy. People say he's injured, but I don't know if that's true. Apparently he's a big, strong, physical number 9, and I think he'll be somebody who can cause problems at this level. Mikey says that rumour if Gibbo to Mansfield's worrying, lose our spark with Gibbo if he went. Oh yeah, just confirm that the new signing will wear the number 9 shirt recently vacated by Ryan Edmondson. But the Gibson rumours are interesting, if nothing else. And it's another case of a player who's going to leave the club at the end of the season if things don't go our way. Plus, I think his dad said something at one point. But Gibson, for me, it's similar to Moxon. Like, he's good, but if they're going to leave for free, I'd rather we got a fee for them. And Jordan Gibson as well, you've got to keep in mind that as good as a player he is, and I do think that, Simpson hasn't been playing him. Gibbo to Mansfield. Yeah, it's a shocking one, and to be honest with you, until Mike has just said it in the chat, it's not one that I'd heard of. But, he was linked with a bunch of clubs not too long ago. And I think he'll stay, because I think he wants to prove a point at Carlisle. I don't think he'll stay past the summer. If we can manage to get him on a new contract, which I don't think is going to happen. I don't think he'll sign a new contract if he's starting every week on the bench. Well, Mikey, you are right that he looked the most likely off the bench. Now, and to be honest with you, I'd be starting him, but I'm not Paul Simpson, and Paul Simpson seems to not like starting him for whatever reason. I think his argument is that Gibbo's a very frustrating player, which is true. It's a very, very, very fair comment. But at the end of the day, it's been our only sort of creative output. We think of the recent game that we lost. I can't remember if it was 3-1 or 4-1, wasn't it? Bolton, right at the very last minute, we conceded another. He got our goal. He scored the 3 goals against Bolton at their place. He's had his moments this season, and he's certainly been a big part of everything that's been done right this season. However, I just think if he's not going to be playing, and we can get some money, why not sell him now? And that's going to be a very unpopular opinion. But if Paul Simpson doesn't see him as part of the long-term plans, well, Jimmy says, look, Gibson's been our most consistent player this season, our most consistent live wire, anyways. But it's very hard to be consistent when you're not consistently in the team, and that's been the story of Gibson's season. I think he's a good player. He's certainly got the talent. Nominated for League One Player of the Season, Player of the Month at least for one point. But yeah, but he still can't get into the team of a team in the relegation zone, and it is a very strange one. And I do understand it to a certain extent, because if you're in this kind of battle, you can't have luxury players. which I think at times Gibson can be accused of. Because there are times that, yes, on his day, he's our best player, and he's definitely our most exciting player. But there are times, I feel, where he gets caught being a bit of a passenger. Which I think it's fair. I think he definitely has at times not been the most consistent player, to put it lightly. Mikey says we aren't replacing Moxon apparently. Jaden Harris is going to play. To be honest, I thought Moxon was going to leave as soon as we signed Vila. I don't think Jaden Harris is the Moxon replacement. I think the transfers have both been agreed for a little bit, in my opinion. They've just happened the wrong way around. If we'd have sold Moxon and then signed Vila, people are going, well, there's the Moxon replacement. George asks, what's the crack with the Grimsby lad? Thought everything was confirmed. I've no idea. I haven't heard that at all. To be honest, I'm going to be honest. I know it's not something I should admit on a live stream about transfers, but I've been a little bit out of the loop this month, or this transfer window anyways. I know the stuff well in advance, but this transfer window, and I think it goes for a lot of fans as well. I think it goes for a lot of people. That I think the club's keeping things under wrap a little bit more. Yeah, Vila and McGeoch maybe. Vila I think is the Moxon replacement, and I think he's going to play for the next couple of seasons with that option in his contract. I think it was a decent enough. I think it was a decent enough signing. I think it was decent enough to get a player away from Fleetwood. It reminded me a lot of when Newcastle, when they got all their money and they got that takeover and they signed Chris Wood from Burnley, not because they needed him, but just to weaken a rival team. And to be fair, I think we do need him, so that point maybe doesn't stand, but it's just that thing of weakening a fellow relegation rival, which Fleetwood fans seem to be a bit, Fleetwood fans seem to be a bit critical of him, but that could just be bitterness, and I don't know. And I know Fleetwood haven't been great this season, so I think it's hard to judge individual players when the squad as a whole has been pretty awful. Martin says, how much did we get for Moxon? I honestly have no idea. Genuinely have no idea. Lots of people seem to think it's 300 grand. I hope it's 300 grand. I don't think it's 300 grand. I think it'll more likely be about 150, I think would be a good price for him. And you've got to think he's worth more than that, but he's got 6 months left in his deal. Mike says, got my lads watching you, mate. Could you give them a shout out? TJ, Leo, and George. Oh, cheers, Mike. And yeah, big shout out to TJ, Leo, and George in the chat. Thank you for watching, boys. Hello. 5:10 said Simpson out, mate. And Dan Wheatley says thoughts on Paul Simpson. Or fraughts on Paul Simpson, I should say. And look, the Paul Simpson one for me is, I think people need to understand how big of a deal him getting us promoted was. Like, realistically, this season, we should be mid-table League 2. Because we started this season with what was not necessarily a League 2 budget. And yes, I know he's got the budget now, and I know things still aren't doing great, and I know the other 3 promotion teams are all doing pretty well in this division. But, yeah, I just... He shouldn't be here. He's suffering from his own success. He shouldn't be in this league. With the squad he had, with the budget he had, we should have been mid-table League 2, hoping to improve on it this season. I think we've overachieved so much that... Yeah, I think people are forgetting so easily what he's done for us already. Yeah, Martin says who would replace... Simpson, and you couldn't. Ross, hello Ross, or Michael. Is Kelly better than Edmore? Well, to be honest with you, I think Kelly's got a broken leg by the sounds of it. So not at the minute, but I hope so. Edmore was out of contract in, I believe, a year and a little bit. Steve Bruce, yeah, no, I don't think I'd have Steve Bruce. yeah, that's a good point from George. You couldn't. Who you getting? Nobody who has said Simo out to me has ever given me a better manager that we could reasonably get to replace him. But yeah, I just don't know. Mark Hughes is available? Absolutely no. Mark Hughes has been a failure at League Two level. I don't think he's a very good manager. To be honest with you, he had a decent run in the Premiership with, I think it was Southampton, but other than that, I don't think he suits the lower leagues. I think he did an awful job at Bradford. I think he should have been sacked a little bit before that. Yeah. Reckon if we manage to survive this season, we can become a solid mid-table club by next season. Well, I think this season's the challenge. I think if we stay up this season, we'll be in no danger next season at all. I think that's a good point. And I think if we go down, we're in a good position to come back up, especially with these two very good strikers we signed. For at the very least, very good League Two. Jimmy says Pete Wild, sort of joking. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, man, he could be a league above us next season. So, so I wouldn't have him because of the whole Barra thing, but I don't know if we could get him either. Dennis says, look, I don't think budget can be an excuse because other teams have done it with worse and he signed the players, so we can't really point the finger anywhere else anymore. Well, look, I think we can blame the budget because other people having done something can't be an excuse. Like, he's worked enough miracles. You can't expect him to keep overachieving. Like, and this season has been achieving where he should have for the budget he's got. Other managers have done it. Other managers in this league have done it. You look at Stevenage. I know they had a higher budget than us at the start of the season, but they had nowhere near the funds to get up into the playoffs. And they've massively overachieved. But I think you can blame the recruitment, and I think some of that has to go down to Greg Abbott. I also think we started this season with a worse strike force than we did at League Two. Mikey says, my opinion is losing Paul Gerrard has cost Simo massively. I think it's had a huge effect on us. I agree. I did get a little bit worried when that John Johnson's just putting comically crap managers in the chat and comically retired managers in that case. Could we not get in Gary Medine? He's banned from the Beehive. Gary Medine's injured, and I know this guy we've just signed, but yeah, well, I don't think we'd sign Gary Medine because he's too old, I think, for Simo. And at the same time, he's injured at the minute. He's not going to be back till I think another couple of months. So I might be wrong there, but from what I'm aware, Gary Medine's injured, and even and he was a brilliant striker back in his day, but that day isn't anymore. Okay, you're just gonna have to give me 5. I'm just gonna try and change the thumbnail because I just launched this channel with a blank blue. Launch this stream with a blank blue background, so I'm just gonna try and manage live. See if I can do it on here. Trying to change a thumbnail midway through a stream. God knows. I swear they make it complicated on purpose. Just for the crack. Yeah, no, just gonna have to leave it for now. Yeah, see if I can whack it on my my laptop there. But yeah, any comments in the questions to keep the stream going while we wait for Carlisle to inevitably not announce anyone? Okay, that should be good. Why did we get rid of Garner? He scored vital goals. I think Garner. I just think he was a bit past it, and I think Simpson knew that, and I think he knew this new guy was coming in to be our new bald guy. But yeah, with Garner, he wasn't really getting in the team, and yes, he scored crucial goals, but you sign players or you get rid of players for what they're going to do in the future, not what they've done in the past. And I think Garner's time at Carlisle was up. Garner was such a frustrating player for both Carlisle fans and the opposition fans. You know, at times for me, I think he's been found out, especially by refs at this level. Like he wouldn't get fouls that should have been given for him, you know, because of his reputation. And I think his reputation really did do him a world of harm in the end, because if you're expected to dive every single time, then, you know, it's a case of the boy who cried wolf. If you keep doing it, referees aren't going to award you the penalties that you should be getting. And I think that's why, you know, I think that's just why it went wrong in the end. And I don't think it did go wrong. I think he had that bit of quality, but he was just getting old. And I think Simo likes to prepare for the future. And I think Oldham's a good club for him. It's a very much underachieving club, and I hate what's happened at Oldham with the ownership and them getting relegated. I think they're such a big club that shouldn't be where they are, and I just hope that Garner can help get them promoted, because they're a team that don't deserve to be where they are, and it'll just be nice to see a little bit of success for them. Yeah, Joel makes a good point there. Garner was always only staying for a year. Like, yeah, he wasn't a long-term fix when we signed him, and he's been here a little bit now. George says, unrealistic, but would have loved Harry Nibbs from Reading. Yeah, I think that's possibly a little bit too unrealistic. Who starts up top Saturday, says Ross. Well, I think this new guy is going to be injured, according to what people are saying in the chat. I honestly don't know about his whole thing, but so I'd imagine it's what we've been seeing recently, and it could be another striker that we bring in today, which I think people are waiting for. Just making sure I haven't missed any more from Carlisle, because they waited till just before I went live to announce this signing. Yes, the UFC, Doug Oldham being in National League and Borough being fourth in League Two shouldn't be allowed. Exactly. I think that's a good point. But I also think it's why sign Dudek on season-long loan? He isn't a loan player. Dudek, he's going to be playing with the youth team. He's a permanent transfer. I know it's only till the end of the season, but it is a free transfer. He didn't have a club after what's been happening in Ukraine. So he does belong to us, and I think it's very much a matter of if he does well with the youth team, they'll just keep him on. He's definitely not been brought in to play now. He hasn't been brought in on loan from anyone. He is our player. But yeah, look, defender Max Kilsby has gone to Queen of the South. Like I watched him play at Penrith. You know, when Dudek made his first appearance for Carlisle in the Cumbrian Cup. And I think I like Max Kilsby, you know. I think he's got a future at Carlisle. So I'm a little bit disappointed to see him go back to Scotland. I'm trying to think of which league. League 1, Queen of the South. So he's gone back to a level pretty similar to where he was at with Annan. Maybe a little bit of a step up. I think Queen of the South might be on the opposite end of the table. But, you know, he's gone back to the Scottish leagues. Still young. But yeah, he's one I kind of wanted him to get a chance at Carlisle, and it just hasn't happened. But yeah, I hope he does well. And it does signal for me that my little hunch that Armour was going to get sold probably isn't going to happen now, because I doubt Simo would leave us with just one left back. My immediate thought when he got recalled from his loan spell was that we were going to sell one of the current left backs, because I think you can't have three, but it just seems that Kilsby going out on loan again, and that we're going to stick with Robinson and Armour at left back. 3.5 year deal. Yeah. It is a 3.5 year deal for this guy, which might be a bit of a risk for somebody who hasn't really been proven at League One level. But he's scored a lot of goals in Ireland. He's played a good few games in the Championship for Rotherham. and we've got him on a long-term deal. Doug says, I thought Willem be out the door after not featuring at Penrith. I also thought that, to be honest with you. And then there's still plenty of time for that, you know. I think the transfer window goes till 11, I think. You're going to have to let me know in the chat because I can't seem to find an exact answer. John Routledge says, just seen a stat that says Kelly has scored 5 goals in 810 minutes, which is a goal every other game in the Championship. Well, yeah, but I mean, that's brilliant for them. 810 minutes, but the career before that, you know, he's played quite a few games, and he's been very prolific in Ireland, I suppose. Maybe he's coming in with a bit of good form. He's just injured, and that's the bit that really frustrates me. I don't know when he's going to be back. I'm reading the article for Carlisle on him. I'm looking in the comments, and I can't see a definite thing of when he's going to be back. Yeah, but apparently it's nothing serious for him. And I'm just watching a scene of a goal he scored for Rotherham. Yeah, he's got some good goals in his highlights. Yeah, calf injury. That's a trouble to sign Irish players. Simpson told him to break a leg, so he did. Yeah. Yeah, CU04 says. No, hello mate. I just realised who that was. But yeah, rumours of 2 or 3 going out early today, so still time. Yeah, absolutely. Could be the same story of Kelly as Maguire, both great in Ireland, but obviously a big difference in English leagues. I think the difference... Well, it's a fair point, and Kelly's a little bit younger than Maguire. But we're signing a player in Kelly who is a big physical number 9, pretty much. Maguire came in purely because he's played at a high level and because of his experience, which I think he thought League One might be a bit easy for him, and he's come and got the shock of his life. Yeah. Mikey Plays Poke says Maguire has been a major letdown in my opinion. Expected so much. He's exactly the same as Zach Clough, I think. We always seem to have one, and the season before that it was Brennan Dickinson. We always seem to have one signing that's someone that is our big name signing that comes in and does absolutely nothing. Yeah, I'm getting Kelly was an unused sub in Rotherham's last match against Middlesbrough. Yeah, okay. So he's been involved in the Championship. Maguire is on $4,000 a week. Possibly, I'd imagine so. Coming from the Championship. But yeah, I mean, looking at this guy standing next to Simo, he looks massive. I don't know if, but to be fair, most people look massive next to Simo. Jay White says up the Blues. Just trying to see. Okay, he's coming into us with a slight niggle in his calf, which has meant he's missed a few days of training this week, so we need to have a look and check whether he's okay for the weekend. Okay, so it's not a long-term injury. CUFO says, alright mate, can't beat a Blue Army deadline stream. Yeah, it's becoming a bit of a tradition, isn't it? Mikey says, love the deadline stream, cheers for doing them. Just waiting for the darts and the drum. Now, the drum won't be coming out, but I've been practicing my darts, and I think I have to redeem myself from last year. So, when the next signing's announced, and we have a little bit of downtime afterwards, I'm going to hit a 180 for you all, okay? Danny says, Orient fan here, how's your team looking for the weekend? And well, Danny, that's the question. I don't think anyone knows, and I think that's part of the problem. We'll definitely be able to have Armstrong up top. We might have this new guy up top. It honestly could be anything, mate. Nobody seems to know. We definitely won't have Owen Moxon. Jay White says we're getting another player in. I certainly hope so. Maybe even another 2. The PTEX have made it clear that they have intentions to improve Brunton Park. What would be the first thing you would change/improve? I think you've got to look at the waterworks end and just improve. Just put a roof on it. I know it's easier said than done, but it just looks bad. You look at the stadium from the side. If you take a picture of Brunton Park from the waterworks, it looks absolutely fantastic. Take a picture from the Warwick Road end, and you're just pointing into this empty, dead stand. I think it just ruins the whole. It's a brilliant stadium, Brunton Park. It's just missing a side, and I think that'd be the first thing I would do, other than probably the toilet situation, which already been sorted. Thoughts on Diamond? To be honest, apart from the whole controversy of him signing in the first place, I think he looks good. And I wanted him to sign for us when we were in League Two, when we were first sort of going for promotion, and we were linked with him a little bit, I think. I always liked him when he was at Harrogate. I know he causes problems, but I really like him. I really like Diamond as a player, anyways. So we'll see how it goes. Checking in from Florida, hoping for a W this weekend. Well, we're international, boys. Says CUFC 23. Thanks, mate. I can't imagine what time it must be. I'm trying to figure, 7 hours ahead or 7 hours behind. It might be either the middle of the night or halfway through the day. I don't know. I've been over to Florida before. It's a lovely place, but hopefully seeing a bit of influence from American owners there. Diamond 2 good for League 2 next season. Well, we've only got him on loan for this season, so I do hope that. 16:37. Yeah, okay. So it'll be the middle of the day. Just read that Kelly's record in League 1 is 1 goal in 10 minutes, so that works out at an average of 9 goals a game. Says CU04. Well, boys, we're staying up. It's as easy as that. But back to Diamond, I think the intention behind Diamond, and CUFC Doug's just reinforced this. I think he is as a signing that we're going to make in the summer. If he does well, it reminds me of McCalmont. It reminds me of Robinson. He's just. Seymour likes to get players on loan that he intends to sign on permanent deals. Ross says, Liam, you got this essay done. Yeah, I assume you're still doing it. But yeah, for those who don't know, me and Ross go to uni together. So yeah, we had an assignment due in today that I had to get done quickly so I could start this stream. But yeah, good luck to everyone at Carlisle Uni today in what's been a difficult assignment day. Love Richie Wellens, doesn't start reporting imaginary coins in the game start. Yeah. I'm still trying to figure this thumbnail thing out. Let me see if I can do something here. Edit your stream title description. I can do the title. I can change the description. But nothing else by the looks of things. Oh well, what a shame. Being Florida 1 static kiss. Yeah, I liked Florida when I went over there. I was only quite young, but it's fond memories. I do think America just gets a little bit too much at times, though. John Johnson. Ross. Thoughts on McGeoch? He's a good player. I mean, he doesn't play, but apparently he's a good player, according to Forest Green fans. But yeah, any questions in the chat to sort of see us through this? Don't get me started, says Ross. Yeah. I quite liked him, to be honest with you, when I saw him in friendlies. It just seems to be that's all we get to see from him. He's League One proven. To be honest with you, I just like the fact that we've got a number 9 again. I want to see a number 9 starting. Like, I absolutely hate, and it's an irrational kind of hatred of these players that come out with number 40 on the back of the shirt or 36 or something. I love a good 1 to 11, proper old school style. So, you see the pitch and it's like, Jaden Harris to rip up League One. He might rip up some players' ankles, but I can't imagine he's going to be doing much quality. Do we need fullbacks that can deliver a decent cross? Well, I think we need Robinson in the team now. Who is that player? Because we're missing Owen Moxon's set pieces with him leaving. How has Lewis been playing? How has Lewis been playing since the Bradford transfer? I think for him, it's a weird one for him because he certainly hasn't torn it up. Because I think he's conceded 3 goals, 4 goals, 4 goals, 3 goals, or something like that. Which isn't great, but I can't really remember a single one that was his fault. I think as a team we've just been awful, and he's been kind of, he's made a few decent saves while he's been here. I don't think you can say he's been playing badly, and I think he's certainly an improvement on who we had. CUFC23 says, who's your 11 for the weekend? That's a big question, I think. For me, I think it would have to be Lewis in nets. That's kind of the easy one. Martin says Breeze could come in. Breeze is a decent enough keeper. He's recently turned down a contract today. It's been confirmed. But I think you'd be a fool to say that Lewis wasn't better than him. As much as I do like Breeze, I think Lewis is the higher quality keeper. I think at times, as good as Breeze did, he was getting defended by the centre backs a lot. Like, I think he was getting a little bit protected, and even still conceded goals. He did absolutely nothing wrong, did Breeze. I don't think there's many goals I don't think there's any that I can think of that he could have done better with. But I think having the confidence of an experienced keeper like Lewis, it does help. So the starting 11, anyways, I'll get back to that. Lewis in nets, Robinson one side, back on the other. He played at Penrith, I assume that was just a fitness thing. Huntington, obviously. Mellish, Lavelle, that kind of picks itself. Then I think you'd have to go with Vila, McCalmont, Diamond in the midfield. I feel like I'm missing someone. Oh, no, sorry. I'm going to change that to Neil, Diamond, Vila, with Butterworth and Armstrong up top. Thoughts on people saying Simo out? Well, I just think you need to remember the state we were in when we came in. And I know I've already said you keep people for what they're going to do in the future, not for what they've done in the past. But if we do go down, he's the best man to take us back up because he's so experienced at doing that. Yeah, well, Ross says, who replaced him at this stage, in my question. That's the thing. There's no one to replace him. Mikey says Gibbo behind Armstrong for me. Well, the fact of the matter is, Mikey, people are saying he might be gone by the weekend, so he might not be available to pick. I think Diamond is a very similar player to Gibson. And out of the two, I think Diamond's got the potential to be a bit more consistent. And I think, even though he's a lone player in Gibson's hours, I think Diamond's a longer term fix, despite him being a lone player. Because I think the interpretation seems to be that we sign him in the summer, regardless of what we are. Would the Piatex ever sack Simo? No. And look, you can go back on this channel and look at interviews. The Piatex don't want to sack Simo. They're absolutely 100% behind him. Him being there was a big part of why they bought the club in the first place. Seaworth says Gibbo good once in 6 games. Well, the thing is that's probably our best record if everyone else is, not having any good games at all. McGee, player manager, I say. We'll have to nail down being a player first for that, I think. 11, Jaden Harris isn't worth staying up. Well, Jaden Harris, he's got an opportunity now to kind of get his way into a League One team. I imagine he might get a couple of games on the bench or leave in a couple of minutes. So, CO4 says, yeah, I agree. I just dislike Gibbo. Yeah, but well, I mean, everyone's got their opinions. Simpson said he would get us out of League One this season, and it's happening. I don't think he ever said that. I think the idea was always to sort of stay in League One. I thought Jaden looked good on Tuesday. He just looked tired all game. Well, the thing is with Jaden Harris on Tuesday, and I thought this at Penrith, and it's a classic example of how a couple of goals can make an awful performance look good. Like, he scored 2 goals, and one of them was a very good finish. But Jaden Harris, he's all-round player. He's not going to be able to get shots like that off in League One. And his passing game, he just seems slow and tired. And you said he looked tired all game, and I think that's a fair assessment. I bet Moxon does mint for Pompey, by the way. Good luck to him from and into the Championship. Yeah, I think Moxon will do well. I think he's got the quality. I think Moxon is a player that he doesn't have the speed for the Championship, but he's got an incredible pass on him, and I think that'll see him go far. Devitt in the coaching team, asks Carney. Well, he's in this coaching team at Working Reds at the minute. He's doing very well with Danny Granger as a sort of player coach. And I don't see why he would leave anytime soon. I think probably the long-term aim by Danny Granger is to be Carlisle manager. He might bring Devitt with him at some point if that ever happens, but for now I think Devitt probably stays where he is at Working. Will any of the new signings leave at end of season if we get relegated? And I think that's a very good question, and I think the answer to that is no, because every single player we've signed this window, other than obviously loan players and this Dudek, seem to be on very long contracts. You look at Luke Armstrong and this new striker Kelly we've signed, both on 3.5 year deals. You know, massive deals. Neil, 2.5 year deal. Vila, 1.5 year with an option of another year. I think the idea behind these signings, a lot of them, is that they're going to be very good League Two players if we go down. I think they're almost sort of things of, if we go down, we'll do well. If we stay up, they're going to help us stay up. Is Granger not also a youth coach for us? I've seen him sometimes on Warwick Road with the academy jackets. I think he's just a Carlisle fan. To be honest, I don't think he's got anything to do with Carlisle. I know there's some good youth players at Working Reds now on loan from Carlisle, and maybe that has something to do with it. But no, as far as I'm aware, he's just fully Working Reds first team manager. And Jay makes a good point. Without Simo, we'd be in the National League, and that's, you know. We've got Neil Diamond in the midfield. Let's sing Sweet Caroline. Oh, that's fantastic. Peter Murphy would be a good future coach. Well, I mean, I'd have said that when Adam were doing well, but I think they've kind of dropped off a little bit this season, which obviously you're going to do when you lose Moxon, and I think we'll see we might be victim to that next. But I've always liked Peter Murphy, but you get caught in the trap of just wanting ex-players as coaches, and you know, you look at, I know it's a bit of an extreme example, but look at Gerrard, look at Lampard. Ex-players aren't always the way to go, and I think Liverpool fans are kind of falling into that trap a little bit with Xabi Alonso as well. It can't always be ex-players. I think you need to try and detach managers from who they were as players. Like, realistically, if Peter Murphy wasn't Peter Murphy, we're just looking at an Adam manager who's currently mid-table and thinking we'll go nowhere near him. Yeah. But yeah, back to Jay's point, without Simo we'd be in the National League, and yeah, and just look at where Oldham are now. Look at where, look at where Garner's gone now. That's where we'd have been. Granger got his own academy team, Cumbria Football Academy, I think it's called, but I'm not sure. His son plays for CUFC. Well, there you go. There's your answer to that. Carney says, can we just sign Wyke already? Well, I certainly hope so. Here's a good question for you all. If we sign Wyke, as well as these two guys, and we've got a front four good strikers of I'll throw Butterworth in there, so just to make it 4. So you've got Butterworth, Armstrong, Kelly, and Wyke. Which of the two do you start? Because I think the best one there is Armstrong, maybe Charlie Wyke. But I don't know. Kelly would have to bench, and that's the thing. But at the same time, is Armstrong and Wyke a decent partnership? Can we sign Wyke, please? We can let out, yeah. Then we can let you get on with your college essays. The college essays are done. It was a struggle this morning to try and get it done for this in time, but the uni essays are done. Well, mine is anyways. I know Ross likes to leave it to the last minute. Slight dig there. Would you? Yeah, and exactly, yeah. I'd almost forgot about Coyote. So yeah, replace him with Butterworth, and then who do you start as a front two? Do you start a front two? Do you throw Coyote out wide, Wyke through the middle, Armstrong out wide? I think you're wasting Armstrong if you do that, but it is an option. This Kelly guy, I don't know where he can play. He seems to be the Edmondson replacement, but Edmondson seems to just get thrown out wide at times as well. Coyote, Armstrong, and Wyke top three. Yeah, well that's the thing. But if you're playing that as a front three, you're gonna have to throw either Armstrong or Wyke out wide, and I don't think either of them would do particularly well out wide. Blues says Butterworth is too inconsistent at the moment. Moreman's a genius, but poor decision making. Yeah, and that's the thing. And I think, look, you look at the Barnsley game, he should have had 3 goals, got subbed off with none. We'll be playing a 4-2-4 at this rate. Yeah, pretty much. I think if we sign Wyke, then we've definitely got a good enough League One attack, because you're then looking at Wyke, Armstrong, Kelly, Coyote, all available strikers when Coyote comes back. Not to mention who else? I'm trying to figure who else we've got. We've got Ablade and Butterworth as well. All I know is don't play Mellish in midfield. I think it worked a lot last season. I don't know if it's worked too much this season. I thought our midfield is weak all season. Now we've lost Moxon. I'd want to see a class midfielder come in. Well, like I said, I think the Moxon replacement is Vila. Right, let's see. I've just got a picture sent from Jenna Piatek of her watching the stream. So, hello Jenna and everyone from the Piateks. Going off this season, I think Gallon Guy is our best player at the club. We've missed him so much. I think, yeah, that's a very, very good point. I'd love to have a sort of parallel universe where we can just see where we'd be now with Callum Guy, where we'd be without, obviously being this situation. Because I guarantee you we'd have a few more points. I think Callum Guy was always our best midfielder. Maybe not with Owen Moxon as a sort of attacking player, but yeah. Oh, somebody says incoming. Does that mean I've missed a Carlisle United tweet? I don't think so. Yeah, no, Max Kilsby leaving's the last thing. Jenna, if you can't read the chat, there's a lot of positive message from you there. Martin saying, hi Jenna, keep up the good work, keep going with Simo. Yeah, Mikey says hi. And Carney wants some inside information. But yeah, nothing of yet. But back to the Callum Guy point, I think he's on a kind of he's on a long-term contract with us. I know he's definitely here next season regardless. So if we were to go down, you know, we're all of a sudden starting next season with one of the best midfielders in League Two, I think. Um, yeah. Waiting for Coyotes. Coyote was always a bit injury prone when he was here in the first place. I do like Coyote as a player, and I think he was a kind of hard done by at MK Dons when he was there. I don't think he was used properly, but nice message from Jenna there. Hello to you, Nick. Thank you for the support. Means a lot. Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to keep an eye on any other League One news, but I'm very aware that not many people really care about that. I've got it up on another screen here, but there's not really much breaking news. Fleetwood seem to want to sign every unknown player going. But yeah. Yeah. Nothing yet. It's just the waiting game for now. Best moment this season so far. It's got to be. I think it's got to be Bolton. Of course, it's got to be Bolton. Jordan Gibson hat trick at what is essentially a Premier League ground with 4,000 Carlisle fans in the away end. You know, it was absolutely fantastic, and that's regardless of what happens this season, the memory of that will always be there. Yeah, Mikey agrees. Bolton away. Yeah, Martin says, do you think Brantford will leave Everton in the summer? Sellon could help us. Sellon could help us massively. I think Brantford will probably leave because of the sheer amount of interest in him that eventually someone's going to come through. It's just what price he goes for. I really hope he goes to Man United because they seem to love overpaying for players. I don't really like Man United too much, and I like Jared, so I kind of wouldn't want to see him in a United shirt, but I know for a fact, let's just say, if Liverpool would pay 60 million for him, Man United would pay 80. You know, they're just that badly run of a club. Brentford's just signed a new contract as well, but yeah, that means nothing. Them contracts aren't worth the paper they're written on. You know, if a team comes in like Real Madrid or Man United and they offer you 70 million for Jared Brantford, you take it. And the talk is that people are thinking of, John Rowlett says Man U or Real Madrid. I honestly think Real Madrid are more sensible than Man United, and Real Madrid love to throw money around. But just say he goes for minimum, and it will be more than this, but minimum 40 million. That's immediately £4 million, or allegedly, straight into the club from that sell on, or whatever it would be over a certain amount of payment installations. Yeah. So UFC Doug says we're coming second in whatever league we're in next year. Yeah, Martin says 10% sell on for us for Jared, but I'm not entirely sure how accurate that is. I hope it's 10%, but we were told something similar with Henderson, only to find out that it wasn't really anywhere near that. It all seems just to be speculation. No one has really confirmed the sell-on clause for Brantford. Not to mention, how these things work is, if he goes for 40 million, we don't just get 4 mil. That's not how these things work. What'll happen is, Everton will receive payment installments from whoever has bought him. Just imagine he goes to Man United. Man United will probably pay 5 million every 6 months for as long as it takes to pay that off, and we'll only get installments as they get installments. So we'll get 10% of that. So we'll get 500 grand every so often, if that were the case for the 10%. Which is still an alarming amount of money and absolutely changing for Carlisle. But Carney says Aaron Hayden back to Carlisle. Imagine. I don't think he'd leave Wrexham. I'd love him to, because I honestly think, in my time watching Carlisle, I think Jerry Yates and Aaron Hayden are two of the just highest quality players I've seen play for us. Throw Callum O'Hare in there as well. I just thought Aaron Hayden could have gone to a lot higher than what he did. 1 hour left of the window. I think so. Anyways, if it does show at 11, I think it shuts at 11. You're gonna have to let me know with that. Yeah. Jimmy says League One's been class. I don't think we'll stop up, but we'll be back. And that's the thing, and that's the thing I want to mention. We've been in relegation fights before. We've been in situations that it looks like we're already down before. And it doesn't feel as bad as that. It doesn't feel as bad as under Keith Millen 2-3 years ago, whatever it is now. Where if we'd have gone down, we probably wouldn't have ever come back up. We'd probably be where Scunthorpe are now, relegation, because there was issues at the top. At the minute, we're in a situation where I think we're in such a good financial position now, especially with all the debt being sorted out, or however that's being done, apparently in the most tax affordable way possible, which is which you love to hear. Yeah, Keith Millen shudders. Yeah, it wasn't a great time. But if we go down this season, I feel like we'd be in a very strong position to come straight back up. And that's the big takeaway from this season. Whatever happens, we're in a stronger position than the last time we were down in League Two. Even if we go down, this team could be capable of dominating the League Two. And to be honest, I'll expect promotion as a minimum. Yeah, and I think for people who like to blame Paul Simpson, I think the only time people would start to have justifiable reason for Simpson is if we went down and continue to struggle. Because I think we've got very good players now. I think we've got decent. Luke Armstrong's already proved how good he is at League Two. We've now got a player who's got a very good record in the Championship, apparently. Harrison Neal, who's a decent player. We've got very, very good players now. And maybe they came a little bit too late for this season, but next season I'd expect whatever league we're in, we should be competing. Chris Beach's assistant, I like Skelton, but let's be honest, he's not good enough to manage League One. He controls set pieces, and our stats this year have been very poor. Well, you can say that, or you can say that we were by far top in League Two by set pieces. I do like Chris Beach. I've always liked Chris Beach, and I thought he was really hard done by at his time by Carlisle. I think he had a promotion title that was ruined by COVID, and then the season after the board sold his entire back line. Just think of the back line that season. It was Nick Anderton, Aaron Hayden, Reece Bennett, George Tanner. Every single one of those players was sold in the summer. Not one of them was replaced. We obviously had a very good sat-in left back who was just sitting on the bench. But apart from that, we were left with what? Rod McDonald. I can't remember who else we had at centre-back that season. Yeah, it was a brilliant defence, and they sold all of it and then questioned why Chris Beach then dropped off a cliff. Well, it's because he sold his entire back line, while also letting Coyote go back. So he lost his star striker, he lost his entire back line, and then was sacked when he didn't do as well. And I always liked Chris Beach, so to have him back in some sort of way, I would enjoy, because I always did like him. But he's doing well at Fylde, so I can't imagine him wanting to leave there. Yeah, replaced by Byron Webster, exactly. It was an absolute disgrace what happened that season. Any normal season we would have been promoted. Odd time it was. Well, exactly. We were top of the league before COVID. The entire team got the coronavirus, and then we dropped off a cliff and finished 11th. So, yeah, I did enjoy Chris Beach. Fleetwood signing another unknown player. Well, to be honest, my knowledge of League One isn't what it should be. I'd rather we were in it, but if we went down, I'd know a lot more about League Two than I do League One, just because that's the league I've always known us being. Yeah. Still nothing out of Carlisle. Yeah, nothing coming out yet. Still waiting. Still hoping for one more before the deadline. Knowing Carlisle, it will happen at exactly the deadline. If we signed someone like McCurdy that wasn't a knob, he would be perfect. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. McCurdy was a fantastic player. As much as everyone hates him at Carlisle, and for good reason, he was an amazingly good footballer, and he showed that at Swindon. His mentality just wasn't there. I used to hate it. I hated it when he would get a niggle for the weekend and then post pictures from him in the Chelsea away end and then be available for next week. Like, he would clearly just miss games to go and watch Chelsea games, and it really, really drove me up the wall. I don't see too many leaving next year either, if we go down, to be honest. I think Gibbo will leave, but then probably just squad players such as Whelan and the loan players. Yeah, he was loved at Swindon, of course he was. Yeah, with the players staying next season, if we go down, I think Callum Guy will still be there. All of the new signings will be there. Then you're just looking at the likes of, does somebody come in for John Mellish? Does somebody come in for Sam Lavelle? In fact, no, I don't think Sam Lavelle will leave. I think we've got a good squad, and I think a lot of them will stay. And I think they're all on decent contracts now, thanks to the PTX. 3.5-year deals unheard of. I remember when we were signing Luis Alessandro on a 6-month deal from Morecambe. These aren't the signings we're used to as Carlisle fans. They're big, long-term, sustainable signings for years to come. Am I weird for thinking Olamola was decent for us? Absolutely not. I used to quite like Olamola. I remember he scored a very important goal in the relegation battle against Oldham, where it was a 1-0 win. I'll always remember it because I couldn't find anyone to go to the game with, so I got the train by myself, got back, forgot to record a video. I always have fond memories of Olamola. He didn't have the quality that he needed to constantly be in the Carlisle team, but I used to really like Olamola's work rate, and I used to like how he was the expert at just backing into a player and holding the ball up, which, to be honest, we could do it at times this season. We obviously won't get Olamola because he's not good enough for League One, but he just used to back into people and hope for the best, and then he scored some important goals as well. Yeah, just being told Chris Beach is happy at Fylde, and I would be too. I think he's got the managerial job full time. I don't see why we'd want to leave. Patrick to Mansfield, couldn't help but feel he must regret leaving us. Yeah, especially with us now wanting to play with wingers, and that's why he left, because we didn't play with wingers. And look, Amari Patrick, he was just fast. He had a bit of quality about him, but the main thing for him was that he was fast, and I think that's time that it's something that we've missed a little bit this season. But yeah, just gonna post the stream on Twitter because the only one on Twitter is the old one that got taken down. Oh, we've gained 4 subscribers in this stream, so thank you for that. to all of the new subscribers, whoever you may be. When did he sign for Mansfield? Well, he hasn't yet. I think it's all just a sort of rumour. Share X. Transfer talk all live. Hashtag CUFC. Post. Okay. Pete says business done. I don't think it's that. I'd be very surprised if it was done for today. Oh. Apparently not. No. That's our business done for the day. We'll have an interview with Simo up on YouTube shortly. Well, it's not the end into the transfer window I would have hoped for. Wow, okay, yeah, it's not great. And it kind of does put a bit of a damper on this stream. Yeah, people aren't happy in the comments, but yeah, okay. Well, Simo said that he wanted 2 new signings in, and he's got the 1. Yeah, poor timing. Yeah, I assume something's just fell through at the last minute. Yeah. And there's going to be an interview with Simo up on YouTube shortly. Okay, so that gives us something to look forward to keep in the stream. But down and up we go then. Yeah. Well, I just, as much as this window hasn't been, not the window, sorry. As much as this season hasn't been ideal, I still think we're in a position to stay up. I still think there is something there. Free market it is, yeah, and there could be. That's a good point. There could easily be some free transfers, but I promised it, and I now know there's going to be a bit of a gap between the next being something to talk about. So There's the board. Let's see how this goes. Right. Ooh. Okay, so for those who can't see, that's 1 in the 25, 1 in the 1, 1 in the 18. I'll give it another go. Yeah, no, they don't want to go into the... I like to think it's an improvement of last year. We'll have one more. I'm not entirely sure this picks up on the stream, but I'll give it one more go. I'm getting very dangerously close to that bull, but yeah. Yeah, it's an improvement on last year, anyways. Where at least all of these went in the board. Interviews up. Okay, we'll react to it live. see if I can get it up on my other screen. I think I'll have some. I think these earphones are still connected. If I whack the other pair of, yeah. Okay. Let's see what we can get. Nope, that's me, not Paul Simpson. Carlisle United. Let's see if we can get it. Paul Simpson on deadline day and the trip to Leyton Orient. There's no thumbnail, but it is what it is. All right. So we've got an advert. Smith versus Littler on at the minute. 5-4 Smith. Yeah. I have been watching the darts this year, and maybe that's why I've gotten slightly better. Right, I've just got more adverts. Here we go. There's the man we know and love. 9 minutes 50. Okay. Simpson says he sees Kelly as a long-term fit. Big part of the future of the football club. Talking about his record in Ireland. I'll whack it in 2 times speed. .44 sub appearances, 4 starts at Rotherham in the Championship. Yeah, apparently we tried to get him last summer. He's got an injury. Okay, here's the injury talk. Okay, so he should be fit in about a week or 2. So it's not the injury disaster people tried to make out that it was. But yeah, any questions to end the stream in the chat? Because I doubt I'm staying till the deadline if there's going to be nothing left. We'll just try and pad this out for as long as we can. But another successful stream. I'm always absolutely dumbfounded by the amount of people that I always get on these lives. We've been streaming for 1 hour and 10 minutes now, and it's dropped now that the deadline is pretty much confirmed to be dead now. But you know, consistently around about 70, 60 viewers at a time. It always does amaze me how many people tune into these streams, and I can say nothing but thank you. And a bit of a celebrity watcher as well, all the way from America. But yeah, It's been another fantastic stream. And just thank you all so much for tuning in again and just listening to Paul Simpson in the background. Yeah. And it also puts an end to the Charlie Wyke kind of speculation. Yeah, people aren't happy that that's the end. But if you let's just take a sort of bigger, wider perspective on this window. We've signed. I think people have been frustrated because we signed so many players at the start of the window that it seems like we haven't signed many come the end. Now, let's just say very early on in the window, Harrison Neal has proved to be a very good player. Luke Armstrong, and that Green as well, who I think played absolutely brilliantly against Penrith, probably my man of the match. So 3 okay signings there. Well, 2 very good signings. 1 okay, Green, who hasn't proven himself yet. But yeah, I've not Paul Simpson off. He's just saying the what you'd expect him to say, to be honest, in the kind of happy to get certain people through the door. Just given the whole run to the media kind of thing that you'd expect. But then you've got to say we've got Diamond in, we've got this new striker in today, Kelly, who, you know, the last Kelly we had as a backup goalkeeper I quite liked, so let's hope we can continue that. And the big important thing from this window that you can take away is that every single player we've brought in on a permanent anyways is on a long-term contract, and that's such a refreshing change from what we've seen in the past. And I just think, look, we expected more from today. I think that's very fair to say. I think people, especially when Paul Simpson said that he expected 2 in today, and then we only got 1. Kilsby's gone as well. Some other news to cover. Owen Moxon's gone, and I think I genuinely do think that Moxon was expected to go when we signed Vila. I think Vila is the Moxon replacement. I don't think it's the case of we've sold Moxon and not got anyone in to replace him. I just think the replacement came in first. But yeah, look, we haven't signed any fullbacks, but Josh Emanuel's that, I suppose, from the new owner's point of view. What I would say about this window, and I think the best way to summarise it is, every signing that's come in, I'm happy with. People just maybe expected 1 or 2 more to come in. Now, we expected this quality of signing. The quality of signing has been there. People just wanted a few more in the hopes of staying up. But let's just say we start next week with... just say Kelly is fit. We start with Armstrong and Kelly up top. That's easily a League One quality strike partnership. We start with Vila, Diamond, Neal in the midfield. That's all new signings. And then you start with Robinson back, the usual back line, and the new goalkeeper. What you've got there is an entirely new attack, an entirely new midfield, and an entirely new goalkeeper, which are the 3 areas at the start of this window that we wanted to improve on. Now, I think it's annoying because people love a big dramatic end to the window, which we just haven't gotten this time around, like we did last time with Josh Coyote. But we've addressed issues we needed to. I would have liked another midfielder, personally, possibly another striker. But yeah, look, we're just going to have to see how these guys fit in, and we've got to give them a little bit of time to fit in as well. You can't expect players to come in and immediately hit the ground running. You can want it, but you can't expect it. And yeah, I think that's where we're going to have to leave the stream today. Any more questions in the chat before I leave? Get them in now, because there's there's not too much coming up now. I'm going to just try and load up the comments for this now. Where am I? Get the phone up. And still to feature is me trying to awkwardly knock the stream off like I always do, failing drastically. But yeah, if that's everything, and up to 925 subscribers now as well. So we've gained 6 subscribers in these streams. It always seems to jump up and we're slowly getting there to the 1,000, which from starting was always the end goal. So yeah, thank you to everyone who's still watching. Thank you to everyone who has been watching in the stream. Thank you for the input from Jenna as well in this, and thank you for the support as always. Now, I'm going to try and